Imagine if AOC got to write history books and they said, why do people sneak into America? Oh, climate change.
Climate change is different because we have an expiration date.
20 years from now. Climate change was so bad that people were walking from Guatemala to get plane tickets to fly to Michigan.
We've got 12 years to turn it around. 12 years.
For real? Are you sure? Are you sure that happened? Maybe there's other variables? What do you think?
My concern is that we are going to be the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Hey guys, maybe some of the stops along the way, they only speak Chinese and they have Chinese signs. There's like a concerted effort to get people in from China. Hey, something going on? No, just climate change.
We are going to debate and debate and debate and debate. And then when we actually finally pass something, it is a wimpy carbon tax and our kids are doomed.
Oh, so simple. So nice to be able to just...
Maher and Joe Rogan have teamed up to roast AOC, and it's as hilarious as it is pointed. If you recall, a wave of commentators recently called out AOC for allegedly misrepresenting her upbringing and background. Well, that truth bomb made its way to Maher and Rogan, and since then they haven't held back. Their sharp critiques have been on full display. So if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button.
Did you hear what AOC said?
He wanted to pick a fight with me, little me. He's gonna lose that.
It's amazing.
Maybe don't send our country into war because you're in some type of mood.
It is straight out of South Park.
Gosh.
It's straight out of South Park.
Congress was supposed to have a classified briefing today, and they canceled it last minute.
Like what?
Yeah, I know.
It's giving scrambling. It's giving disorganized. It's giving they are having problems behind the scenes.
Do you know something I don't know?
Please understand that this is Trump's war. This is a Republican war. Don't let them...
Like, what are you saying?
Oh, I'm not too sure what the full background is here, but it's honestly funny how Joe Rogan doesn't even try to take AOC seriously anymore. The days of viewing her as the standout star among flashy Democrats seem to be over. He used to compliment her speaking skills and what he called her courage for stepping into...
Did you see the video of when she found out she won?
It's amazing. Play it.
I'm gonna grab her. She's right here. I can't let you go.
It's like one of the realest moments. And look, people are angry. 28-year-olds, what the f does she know? What she doesn't know, she'll learn. Maybe she knows a lot. I like the fact she wasn't supposed to win. I like the fact that the guy who was an incumbent was a 10-term incumbent.
Yeah.
And that he spent 10-1 versus on her. How much money she spent? 10-1.
And grassroots got her elected, man. And that can happen.
Dude, she's a kid.
Yeah, that's...
And she's pretty. She's a pretty young 28-year-old. Yeah.
So, I'm not exactly sure what the full backstory is here, but it's pretty funny how Joe Rogan doesn't even bother pretending to take AOC seriously anymore. The days of seeing her as the rising star among high-profile Democrats seem long gone. He used to praise her speaking abilities and what he once called her bravery for entering Congress at such a young age. Next voice. 4. Okay, so this is a compilation of AOC making some pretty bold and questionable claims, and honestly, I'm not even surprised anymore. Take her infamous statement that we could solve climate change in 12 years, as if a complex global issue can be resolved on a strict congressional timeline, completely overlooking countless factors beyond.
Imagine if AOC got to write history books and they said, why do people sneak into America? Oh, climate change.
Climate change is different because we have an expiration date.
20 years from now. Climate change was so bad that people were walking from Guatemala to get plane tickets to fly to Michigan.
We've got 12 years to turn it around. 12 years.
For real? Are you sure? Are you sure that happened? Maybe there's other variables? What do you think?
My concern is that we are going to be the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Hey guys, maybe some of the stops along the way, they only speak Chinese and they have Chinese signs. There's like a concerted effort to get people in from China. Hey, something going on? No, just climate change.
We are going to debate and debate and debate and debate. And then when we actually finally pass something, it is a wimpy carbon tax and our kids are doomed.
Oh, so simple. So nice to be able to just...
Under our control, but that's become typical of her approach. This is someone who continues to argue that mass migration is driven primarily by climate change, downplaying other major factors like economic hardship, political instability, and authoritarian regimes. Early on, you might have chalked some of this up to inexperience or idealism. But 5 years into her time in Congress, these oversimplified takes don't reflect idealism. They reflect a lack of growth. At this point, there's really no excuse for repeating underdeveloped ideas on major global issues. If anything, it shows a surprising resistance to reflection and learning. Instead of asking, "Does this really make sense?" she often doubles down, relying more on passion and dramatic delivery than grounded facts or sound reasoning. And that just doesn't hold up anymore.
My favorite interviews was when AOC was talking to that lady and she asked her to expand.
About Israel-Palestine?
Oh
yeah.
my God.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is like the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
She just collapsed into herself?
It's literally like a fifth grader that didn't study.
Yes.
And then they ask you about the subject, or you didn't read the book. And then, it's about Billy and his dog and a really good relationship, these dogs.
But the crazy
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also just, I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue, you know?
If you've watched the full interview, and I did, you'll notice AOC starts off by confidently claiming she's an expert. Bold words. But the moment the tough questions start coming, that confidence quickly fades. That's become her trademark. Take her out of her comfort zone, where she's used to passionately criticizing Donald Trump, and ask her about real policy or facts, and she struggles. At this point, it's almost predictable. She seems to thrive in echo chambers, not in open debate. The second she's challenged on substance, her confidence shifts to deflection. Her talking points begin to unravel, and that so-called expertise she claims disappears into vague, generalized responses. This is someone who's clearly mastered performance politics, lots of dramatic flair, but very little depth, and that's the real issue. When style constantly takes priority over substance,
Giant robotic tripods could be vaporizing New Jersey. Democrats would point out how the death lasers were disproportionately affecting low-income communities and people of color, and AOC would tweet, "Stop demonizing the Martian X community."
Yep, it's funny, but also painfully true. Sometimes it feels like we could have Martians landing in our neighborhoods and causing chaos, and certain political leaders would still rush to defend them in the name of compassion. And honestly, that's not too far from what's happening. Now, the consequences of unchecked illegal immigration are very real. Communities are facing serious challenges: overwhelmed law enforcement, increased crime, and strained resources. Yet, instead of focusing on real solutions, we see political grandstanding. And leading the charge, as always, is AOC, offering sound bites that ignore the very real impact on everyday Americans. Bill Maher wasn't exaggerating when he joked that even if aliens were tearing through Los Angeles, some would be on TV arguing for their right to peaceful coexistence. It's no longer about practical solutions, it's about performance and ideology. In this kind of political theater, reality takes a back.
Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez caught that interview, or at least saw it online, and she wrote, "It's not normal. Lawler voted to make the tax breaks on billionaires permanent while making the no tax on tips, just for those making less than $25K, expire in just 3 years. He's also kicking tipped employees off Medicaid, ACA, that's Obamacare, and clawing back their SNAP." So is she wrong about this bill?
Yes, she's entirely wrong. Look, the standard deduction, for instance, which was doubled under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, is made permanent. This is a huge tax cut for middle class and lower income families all across this country. Obviously, within this bill, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, a senior deduction, a child tax credit expansion. This is targeted towards the middle class and working class and lower income Americans all across this country.
And that's exactly what I've been saying. She consistently misses the mark on even the basics and refuses to pause, research, or truly engage with the issues before taking the spotlight. Take that recent major bill, for example. It was designed to ease financial pressure on the middle class through significant tax relief. Instead, AOC stepped in with misleading claims, insisting the government was targeting people making under $25,000 while giving the wealthy massive tax cuts. It was more fiction than fact. She's also tried to shape her image as a Bronx-born, working-class hero, even though school and public records show she spent most of her childhood in Yorktown, Westchester. And remember that viral claim about cashing her grandmother's Social Security checks? That turned out to be satire, with no factual basis. 5 years in Congress, and she's still pushing narratives that don't hold up under scrutiny. At this point, it's not just inexperience. It's an unwillingness to grow.
Not about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are. I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job done.
I've said it time and time again. The Democrats need to start learning from their mistakes, especially the ones from last year. Kamala Harris drew big crowds, flashing cameras and glowing endorsements from A-list celebrities who seemed more focused on TikTok trends than the actual issues. But what were the results? A staggering loss at the polls. And let's not forget, they had over $1.5 billion in campaign funds. Yes, billion. Yet they still couldn't manage to use it effectively. Why? Because their so-called leader, Kamala Harris, didn't step up as a true leader. She came across more like a PR package built around identity politics, lacking the grit, vision, and leadership needed to drive a serious campaign. What's worse is that they keep doubling down.
Holy shit. He said what?
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
It's a category of crimes that you're then charged
You
under.
have charges.
A long 100
You
list
have
of
charges.
statutes.
Please
Want me to
name
the exact statute
sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Well, it's funny. In this committee room, there's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my time.
lawyers that went to law school.
I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute.
reclaim my time.
This one's almost too funny to believe. AOC, in full performative mode, tried to deliver a classic gotcha moment to Tony Bobulinski by asking if he had personally witnessed Joe Biden commit a crime. Without hesitation, Bobulinski replied with a clear, yes. Not satisfied, AOC pressed further, demanding he name the specific crime. So he did. He cited corruption and RICO violations. And that's where things got awkward. AOC appeared, genuinely unaware that corruption and racketeering are indeed federal crimes. Bobulinski answered her question directly, but she didn't seem prepared or willing to follow through with an informed response. And that's the real issue. In trying to discredit a key witness,
recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as it is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman, with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
AOC seems far too manufactured to be taken seriously as a presidential contender right now. She comes across as too ideologically extreme for the average voter, not yet equipped to handle the complexities of global leadership, and too focused on making noise instead of demonstrating the calm, intellect, and diplomacy the role demands. Her constant drive for attention, through sound bites and viral moments, might work on social media, but it doesn't translate well on the national stage, where real leadership is measured by results, not retweets. That said, she's not beyond growth. She's still young, and with humility, reflection, and a genuine desire to learn rather than lecture, she could evolve into a more credible political figure. But for now, let's be honest, she has no business even hinting at presidential aspirations. What she needs is time, experience, and a serious dose of reality. Until then, the best thing AOC can do is step back, prioritize substance over spectacle, and grow into the leader she claims to want to be. At this point, AOC represents performance more than policy. Loud, unrefined, and often out of her depth, her